Alright, peace everybody. Today will be the part two to my story of how I got Guillain syndrome. In this part of the story, I'll be teaching y'all, also telling y'all about the recovery process. I won't be on camera much because I'm about to make me something to eat, but pretty much goes as follows. So, I got just kind of picking up where I left off. So, going from 21 to 24, I noticed that, all the strength that I had gained from the medicine, it basically started to wane. I was actually in a position where I was weak. Time before, because the medicine in itself is man-made, meaning that it's artificial, so the bonding process between the artificial B12 that my body would produce would be, I guess, completely different, seeing as that I thought at the time that my body was, after I stopped taking it, I thought that my body was constantly reproducing more B12. But what I didn't know at the time was that when you take B12 actually is expelled every time you urinate. So you lose B12 every time you pee. And I don't want to just say I was peeing a lot or something, but I was losing more B12 than my body was creating. So I had no way to compensate. I remember it like it was yesterday, the day that I completely lost all feeling again. Like the days before, like the days leading up to it, I was playing video games, I was playing NBA Live, and I started to notice that my reaction time was red. It was getting very bad. I wish I could have found a better word. Very bad. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. It was bad. So, yeah. And at the time, I had a girlfriend. Shout out Keita. And we would see each other consistently. She was there for me at this time. This is around the time when I had first got into holistic healing, crystals and stuff like that, because I wanted to find something that was basically better than the doctors. So I could basically go without doctors. So this is around the time when I first got into it. And with me first getting into it, crystals are intelligent. They have to take time to bond to your body structure and things of that nature. So the process wasn't quick. At that time, I was staying with my aunt, and her having a Christian background, didn't really understand. Like nobody, not too many people in my family really understood why I was doing what I was doing and what I was doing it for. Because in the Christian religion, they teach you that the only way for you to heal yourself, the only way for you to get healed, is through their religion, which doesn't make any sense. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves differently. But with me going through what I went through, it was a more difficult process, because my body was basically getting well and then shutting down, getting well and then shutting down again. So my body was going from up to down, and I didn't know how to cope with this. And like I said, with my family having a Christian background, they really wanted the people to talk to about this type of thing. Like holistic healing is taboo in the Black community. told her about the situation with like her not really being able to really tell me what I could or should do. She was basically just she didn't really give much advice or try to do too much of that. I mean, I do believe that she mentioned going to the doctor, going back to the doctor at some point, because we were together for a little bit. So at some point she did mention going back to the doctor. I kind of was about to, like I was about to give up on myself, just go ahead and go back to the doctor and let them see what they can do. I don't know what fell through with that. I believe there was an issue with insurance, so I just said fuck it. But like I said, I got into the crystals and then I ended up living in my aunt's house and moving in with my grandma. And her having the same viewpoints and beliefs, I didn't really talk to her about the situation either. Simply because I felt like nobody that's ever been in my shoes could actually help me. Nobody that has the mindset that I do can actually help me. Like, people get this thing in their mind where God wants them to suffer. Like, I'm not a person that subscribes to that belief, because why would what created you allow you or even want you to suffer, to know what it's like to not suffer? So, to name off a couple of crystals that I used, very important ones. They're very good at leveling blood structure, reviving nerve cells, and helping you assist to reconnect your neurons, helping assist to reconnect your nervous system. Because this is all what this is about, the nervous system. So this is not in any particular order. We got clear quartz, amethyst, aventurine, orange. Orange is the ideal one for the situation. Let's see, obsidian, apatite, onyx, azurite, pedalite. I think I'm missing a couple. A very good one. They call this the rainbow stone, the dragonland stone, the labradorite, and that was a really good one. I only had a small piece, so it was hard to really work with that one and keep it close under wraps. But I had to do some good work. But so the process that I went through to actually reactivate my whole body was a process of basically going into my own mind and turning on the lights, so to speak, in every part of my body, so that I could resurrect, so to speak. So it was more like I'm trying to think of like a commercial that I can kind of give you the idea of, but it was more like, okay, so think of like a scary movie where there is like a monster in the basement or something, you know? And you go down to the basement with a flashlight, you know, cobwebs, you see the cobwebs and stuff like that. And you basically turn the light on and the monster goes away. So what I did was, from here, I walked through every part of my vessel and turned the lights on. And every part. And I did this with a crystal structure laying on my body. The crystals I had were red jasper, orange aventurine, citrine or tiger's eye. Either or is okay. Fluorite, amethyst, and clear quartz. Those going from root chakra to crown chakra. The process took about 30 minutes because as anybody knows that has meditated before, it's easy to get sidetracked when you're on a mission. But I just had to keep bringing myself back to the forefront of the mission and the reason why we were doing this. So that was the initial process to get my body back started. I leave my grandmother's house, and now I'm staying with my aunt, which was probably the hardest part of my healing story because I had bought a whole bunch of crystals, a whole bunch of books, a whole bunch of things that were basically frowned upon in the Christian ideology. And when I got to her house, she basically, I kind of skipped. Okay, so I skipped a part. So I left my grandmother's house, and then I went to go stay with my cousin, LaShonda, who was probably one of the best people that I went to go live with. She held no judgment, no reservations, no preconceived notions. She just loved me for me. And she understood what I was going through, and she also understood that I was the only person that could help me at that time. I was the only person that had the answers to what I needed to do. So yeah, I asked my aunt if I could come stay with them reluctantly. And the reason why I was reluctant was because I knew how they felt about my ideologies and about how I viewed life and how I wasn't subscribed to the religion that they believe in. And I felt like I was gonna be outcasted for something that I literally lived through, for something that I've literally experienced in my life that can't be disputed. So reluctantly I asked if I could go with them, and about a week later, she said, yeah, but before you get here, she said she didn't want any crystals in her house. And I told her, I was like, well, I don't think I can throw them away. I had built a pretty good collection. I had probably about 30 of them, and that's a nice size collection for somebody that's just starting out. So yeah, I told her I don't think I could throw them away, and I didn't really hear anything after that comment. So I didn't think anything of it. Maybe in hindsight, the best thing to do would have been to leave them somewhere, so I wouldn't have had to throw them away. But I guess everything happens the way it's supposed to, or everything happens for a reason. Sometimes the reason is your fault, more so to say. So I ended up going to stay with them, and about a week or 2 weeks in, she sat me down and basically had an ultimatum with me. And I knew the day was coming when she was going to feel like she had to do this. But what trips me out about Christians is they don't even read the book. If you did the way you say you do, and observer of the religion like you really claim to be, you would know that there are crystals in the Bible. God made a breastplate that was decked out with crystals, amethyst being one of them. I've looked it up, I've done the research, so I know it's there. And it just tripped me out because the reason why they didn't want me to have crystals is because of what their pastor told them about the crystals. Not because of their own ideas about crystals, but because of what another man told them about crystals. So it just kind of tripped me out, you know. And at that time, you know, she gave me the ultimatum. And really this didn't happen until I pulled out my book, The Psychic Witch. And, you know, to Christians, the word witch is, you know, the harshest word that you could ever hear. You know, she was telling me stuff like she don't believe in good witches and shit like that. And I was like, well, long story short, she basically gave me the ultimatum to either throw my crystals away or find somewhere else to stay. She said it just like that. And I asked her in that moment, I was like, so you care more about your religion than you do me? She looked me dead in my eyes and said yes. So I was like, wow. It goes to show you that, you know, family, they talk about sticking together and being family, but it's rare that they accept you for who you are and the things that you have done and the things that you've gotten to and the understandings that you've gotten to in life. It's rare that they actually accept you for who you truly are. So, me not wanting to take another L at this point, I felt like I was going against myself, you know. So I cried, and I cried hard. Her idea of it was that it was because I felt like I was wrong. And I've never expressed this to them, but the reason why was because at that time, it was the middle of winter time. And I didn't want to take a L for the simple fact of me having to find somewhere else to stay. And I'm just trying to get my footing. I'm just trying to get my foothold, you know. And what really blows my mind about that whole situation is about 6 months later, she came to me and told me that she basically told me to throw all my crystals away for nothing. Because you can look them up on the internet, and she was saying a bunch of stupid shit like that. And I was like, wow, good to know. Good to know. But, so I throw all my crystals and books away to appease them. And that's the reason why I felt so bad, because I was like, I'm going against myself to appease some motherfuckers that don't even accept me for who I am. So why the fuck am I doing this again? Oh, okay, for a roof. Okay, I get you. It's better to survive than to die over something that can be regained. You know, that was the ultimate truth in the situation. Like, you can always get them again, you know. So I threw everything away, but before I did that, I literally started the process of, mind you, I told you that I did the turning the lights on thing. So after that, when I got to my aunt's house, I did a process of going through the recesses of my mind and basically starting the snowball effect, so to speak, of regeneration. I can't explain how. I can just tell you what crystals I used, because it would be really hard to explain like why I'm able to use crystals the way I am and how. Like, you either have it or you don't, because a lot of people, you know, can't use more than one crystal at a time in their hands, but I can. So I used onyx, apatite, and orange orange aventurine. And these crystals help me go into like the darkest parts of my mind, where the inception of the idea began. And I think I just like destroyed it. I destroyed the idea of death and dying and shit like that, or feeling like I couldn't be healed or I couldn't resurrect. And I felt like a phoenix type moment. Like the easiest way for me to explain what I saw while I was in there is like I was moving really, really fast, like almost like the Flash type fast. And I saw like caverns. It was like caves and caverns, but there was blue light, like really bright tealish blue light. But the caverns were like concave, so they were like this on all sides. Like there were like 4 sides to each one, and I was in the middle of them. So I was running down the middle of them, and I kept seeing blue lights everywhere, until I got to, I guess I could say it was my younger self, and I released him back into the cosmos. I also think that with that situation, I tapped into the fountain of youth. People don't even believe me when I tell them my age. It's hilarious, but yeah, and I literally did that before she did the little ultimatum thing. So I was good in that sense, but I also was still dealing with this shit. But right after I got done, like my brain told my body, you just started a process that can't be reversed. Like it's going to take time, quote unquote, but it's going to happen. And that's how I got to where I am now. But yeah, at that time I was still numb, couldn't feel, my mobility was limited. You know, a lot of things were still, but I had hope that things were gonna be better.